watch
How?
this?
How?
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 Ew,
How do you watch this?
Dude, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Hi, you're listening to How Do You Watch This, a movie review podcast where each week we recommend a movie in the genre we love, but they don't. My name is Megan and I love romance.
My name is Demi and I love horror.
And this week I had Demi watch Pearl Harbor as part of our common thread of war. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen this one in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, I feel like I consider this a first watch, but I know
You consider
There's-
this your first watch of it?
yes, I
Okay.
do. I know I probably have seen it when I was very young or
Yeah.
it was on TV or something because I know of it.
Yeah.
And there are some scenes that seem a little familiar, but not enough for me to say I properly watched it. So I was like, you know what, I would say this is a first time watch for me. I will consider it a first time
Yeah.
watch.
I watched it the first year that Travis and I started dating, so 13 to 14 years ago, and I do not remember what my first reaction was to it. All I know, I'm almost positive I was left feeling the same way I felt this time around.
Bored,
Yeah.
disappointed.
It's a long movie. It's a long movie. This movie did make apparently the Guinness Book of World Records for most explosions in a movie.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Or most explosives used in a movie, but either way.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah.
One or the other. I have it screenshotted and I
Okay.
can tell you for certain, but it is jam-packed.
It is jam-packed. So, a few other actors before I get into the little snapshot and then we dig deeper. Ben Affleck, obviously, J-Lo's boyfriend.
Former husband.
What he's
former
most known for.
of fame of what was the name of that god-awful movie?
Geely.
God.
And then Josh Hartnett, who is, I know him from Penny Dreadful. I'm in love with him in that show. I'm in love with him in this movie too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Partially because he's beautiful. He's most recently in the movie Trap as well, which is a Shyamalama movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, not good.
Okay.
I didn't watch it, so I heard it was really bad. So I'm like,
Yeah.
hard pass. And then Kate Beckinsale, which
is I think another reason Travis loves Pearl Harbor.
she's stunning. I mean, she's always stunning, but
Gorgeous.
in this movie, she really, I almost didn't fully recognize her. I don't know, it's because I remember Underworld and Van Helsing is where I know her from.
Right. Yeah, she's nothing like Van Helsing.
Yeah,
Kate,
yeah,
she's
the
different.
dainty nurse lady. But yeah, she's beautiful always.
Yeah, stunning.
So, snapshot of the movie.
Dude, this whole movie could have been 30 minutes if they hadn't cut out.
Actually, let me pull up the our man Robert Ebert's
Yes,
little
please.
review he
Love
put,
Roger. Okay.
which I only
Did I
knew
call him
because he was
Roger?
Robert. Yeah. It was in my crossword a few days ago. His name came up and then he had 3 other movies that he reviewed and Pearl Harbor was one of them.
No.
And I'm like, I had to see what his review was. So he puts, Pearl Harbor is a 2-hour movie squeezed into 3 hours about how on December 7th, 1941, the Japanese staged a surprise attack on an American love triangle. He gave it 1.5. I love it. I'm like, that
An
is
icon.
The 2 hours into 3 is so accurate.
So good.
It is. It is crazy.
The amount of times they just were like, this is and you would think they almost made it look like they were trying to get a really beautiful cinematic shot, but it just wasn't this, it's not like I was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. You're just like, it's another ocean. It's another sunset.
It really, the first hour is so boring to me. And then you get to the Pearl Harbor attack and I was like, okay, now we're getting something. And then I feel like the movie slows a little bit, but it still had my attention towards the end. Them what are we gonna do here? And then the end came so quickly and then it was done. And I was like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ, we spent so much on dumb shit.
Yep.
And there's a movie the movie's called Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. Snapshot is basically that. 2 best friends, Rafe, which is a horrible name.
Terrible.
And Danny are childhood friends. They become pilots in the military. They meet Kate Beckinsale's character, who's a nurse. Some sort of love triangle forms for reasons. And Pearl Harbor happens, and then they partially resolve that.
Dude, I hate love triangles in general. They're absolute trash. Love triangles are the worst, and they make me feel bad every single time.
They do. And then this one I felt like wasn't really a love triangle.
Honestly, dude, I just felt like they were hot potatoing Kate Beckinsale. It was like,
yeah.
my turn.
Yeah, so the base of it is, if you don't know, is that Rafe and Evelyn is Kate's character. They meet, they have a thing
for
like a
like a
month
month.
long
Yeah.
romance. And then he's like, I am leaving. He's pretty much volunteered to go help the fight in Europe. And so that's kind of it. And then they're writing
pen pals,
letters.
yeah.
He supposedly dies. His plane crashes in the ocean. He's thought to be dead. And so then 3 months go by, and Danny, the friend, and Evelyn kind of meet up, and it just felt like weird. Like, Evelyn was so into Rafe. Like, she, like, that's her boo. And then Danny kind of shows up, and it's just this weird, like, I guess I should move on type of thing, which I guess, you know, you can start moving on.
Right.
And then her and Danny go on this, like, little plane date. They bang in the freaking, I don't know, the
Dude,
plane.
I was like, is that the laundry room?
It was like the plane garage. I don't know what they call it.
There were like all these linens all over the place. So I was like, what are you laying? Is that clean? Is it dirt? What's happening?
I don't know what it was, but they have sex. And then he was like, I'm in love with you. And she's like, yeah, you know, I'm cool with this. Like, it felt like she was like, I like you, but I'm just like, she's not fully moving on yet.
No.
And then Rafe shows back up. Because, surprise, he's not dead.
Yep.
And then he immediately realizes that Evelyn and Danny were seeing each other.
Yeah.
There's conflict. And then Evelyn's like, I'm pregnant. So she's like, I'm going to pick Danny, but I'll never look at a sunset without thinking of you. Okay, bro. Which, you know, fair. You got pregnant. Like, you're going to stick with the daddy.
Yeah, I get it. But first of all, let's just say, Danny's hotter.
He is hotter. 1,000%.
Yep. He didn't run away to go fight in a, I mean, not to say whatever, but like, come on. I mean, just like,
I mean, Danny's the better pick, but
Danny's the better pick, but like, whatever.
You
she
know,
didn't love him.
Yeah. She was definitely like super into Rafe. And, you know, and it's a tricky situation, you know, like you're trying to move on, and then suddenly he comes back, and it's like, what do you do? You know?
Yeah. I think it sucks.
Just, it just felt like, I don't know. I feel like her and Danny's relationship was not.
I wasn't convinced.
No, I was not convinced at all. And so, so then this happens. War's happening. And Danny fucking dies trying to save Rafe.
Congrats, Rafe. Congrats. You get what you want.
Thanks, Rafe. And Rafe's like, you can't die. You can be a daddy. He's like, no, you're going to be a daddy.
I hated that line. That was the worst line. No, you're going to be. Get out of here. Get out of here. I hated that. And then it ends on like a baby, Danny's baby.
Yeah.
And Evelyn and freaking Rafe are like happy as can be.
Yeah.
Where's your PTSD? Come on.
It worked out for her in the end, I guess.
Yeah, she got what she wanted.
She got what she wanted.
Yeah.
No PTSD.
No PTSD.
Fine.
No, he's not. Definitely not scarred. Or
Danny's massive tombstone is next to the farmhouse,
dude. And then he's like taking his little boy, his like 2-year-old boy, into an airplane. I was
like no lid.
No, what are you doing? That is so irresponsible.
It was so bad. Like so that's the love triangle itself. I would have appreciated it more if it was just Rafe and Evelyn. They meet. You have two perspectives, right? You have a pilot, you have a nurse who's dealing with the stuff. There's a romance that builds in, but it's not like the main thing, you know? And then Danny's just a good friend. He's a good man that's there for Rafe and there for Evelyn.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, we really didn't have to, like, it felt so goofy because there would be scenes dealing with this, and they'll cut to the Japanese being like, we have a plan. It's like exposition from the Japanese.
Yes.
And they'll come back to the stupid freaking triangle.
Right.
Like, this feels so goofy.
It was, I did not like it. There was no need for it. I think very rarely is it necessary. And if you're trying to create a story to have like the exposition around the war or whatever, and to like draw people in, like look at Titanic. They did a fictional love story around this, and they didn't like overcomplicate it with like just make it be that's the love story, and they're
Ruby
agrees, and they're torn apart.
Right, and I think with Pearl Harbor, it, like you either focus on Pearl Harbor or you have this romance that's going on, but,
Mhm.
like, you don't get the exposition in the background, like the president,
Yeah.
the Japanese like, don't do that. It's just they're on the base,
Yep.
and then it happens. You can do
And
that, you know?
yes, and this is where I'm gonna talk a little bit about the historical inaccuracies because
Yes, please
they
do.
did not really at all follow what happened, without getting too nitty-gritty into all of the things that they did wrong. Like,
Yeah,
first of all, the technology that they had, like, they presented the radios in a way that they did not exist, that you would
okay.
not be hearing on the Hawaiian base. You would not hear what the pilots are talking about in the
Mhm.
planes, the types of planes they use inaccurate planes, and
Okay,
there was some uproar with survivors who were
okay.
like those they used actually American planes for the Japanese bomber
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever they're called,
Yeah.
and they were upset, but they had actually, like, the military had destroyed all the Japanese
Mhm,
planes, so there was none left, so they had to use American ones, so
mhm,
they kind of, like, that one, they had a reason. The bigger things are more of the way the war was, like, presented and
mhm,
the way they show it. So they show it basically saying, like, that the Japanese attacked because America cut off their oil, and I was like, I turned it off, I was like, "Is that really why they started the
mhm.
war?" Like, what? But it's, like, so much more complex than that. They just kind
Yeah,
of, like, simplify it.
yeah.
And then when the actual attack happens, they got flack because they had them, like, torpedoing airfields, which you don't do because torpedoes
Mhm.
are water, like, missiles. So, like, that's
Yeah,
another thing, which again, for me, didn't click.
yeah. No,
But
it's
they
true that now you say it, though.
yeah, and then they also this is, like, for me, this is massive.
Mhm.
They never bombed a hospital. They never went after a
Okay,
hospital. They never shot one up. Had very strict orders to only
okay.
go after.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that like that whole subplot. There's
Yeah.
Travis and I were like, I was looking up like death things, and he had me like crying, laughing because there's this one character. I think her name is Betty, and she dies.
Yeah,
She's a
yeah.
nurse. So I was like, did any nurses die? and not a single nurse died on
Okay.
Pearl Harbor. And
Yeah.
Travis was like making me crack up because he was just like, "R.I.P. Betty died for the plot."
For real, they're
Just
like, "Get this bitch out of here. She's happy, she's engaged.
yes, for no reason.
We need tragedy."
Yeah, there were civilian deaths.
Which
I
makes
think like
sense, yeah.
68 civilian deaths, and some
Mhm.
of them were like there were people flying like personal planes and they got
Okay.
taken down because
Oh,
there was
wow.
like the confusion over that. There was
Yeah.
like a couple of towers that the Japanese targeted because they thought they were military towers, but they weren't. So
Okay.
things like that, but not the amount of havoc that gets shown
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, he prioritized a dramatization to create the emotional impact of the devastation of that day when
yeah.
I mean, I
I
don't
mean,
think you need to dramatize it. I
it's
don't think,
the American prop Pearl
but
Harbor always has to be emphasized to try and be like, "See, we had to bomb Japan like that. Like, look what they did." And that's for me is always like how Pearl
yeah,
Harbor's like always dramatized, and it sucked. People died, like obviously,
it's,
like not cool. But
yeah.
also like it was a military based fleet, like
Mhm.
it was a war, and it's just like what happens. And
My only pushback on that would be I don't think
Mhm,
Michael Bay went into it with the intention of being like, let's make propaganda. Where I feel like a lot of times propaganda is like they
mhm,
know what they're doing. And I think he's just a Hollywood guy who wanted to Hollywood up and like make it
yeah,
more dramatic because it was like at that point, right? It was
mhm,
like the biggest American tragedy. Like 9/11 hadn't happened yet, right?
right.
Like,
Same year though,
yeah, same year. He was
few
like,
months later.
miss my, miss my chance.
No, I get it. I mean, like
Yeah.
with like these, I think with any American war type of movie or symbol, like you have to be careful because it can just come off as propaganda. Like it can feel
Yeah.
that way. just the way this movie was filmed with, like, the Japanese didn't really have personality. They were just
No.
exposition, like, it's just the focus, yes, it was Pearl Harbor and the Americans because it makes sense, but,
Right.
it does come off a certain way, even if it wasn't intentional. It just yeah.
I agree with you, and I think that if you're making a movie like this, you have an obligation to historical accuracy.
When you, like, make a movie called Pearl Harbor,
Yeah.
I think people wanna see, the intention is
Mhm.
like, "Okay, this is a movie on Pearl
Yes.
Harbor and what happened," and it just, like I feel like it just really wasn't the emphasis,
Yeah.
It was too much focus on, like, everything else, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we didn't really yeah, we saw the attack, but, like,
Mhm.
some aftermath, but, like, I don't know, they really could have
Yeah.
gone more into that, and,
Yeah,
he
and
didn't.
I think that, like, most people, especially in 2001, are
Mhm.
not going to be fact checking, and they don't have the education or the
Yeah.
understanding knowledge of the events of that day. Like, Pearl Harbor
Mhm.
was, like, what, one day in American history class? Like,
Yeah, yeah, and I
you
remember, like, reading about it and was like, "Oh my god, this
yeah,
was horrible." Of course, they had to bomb
yeah,
the ship, and, like, that's literally how I remember
yeah,
it, Like, it's because they're just like, "Yeah, and then America did this," but, like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fucking whatever. They don't
yeah,
really go into, like, the damage
mhm,
of
yeah,
that, it's just like they talk about Pearl Harbor, which makes
yeah,
sense, it's American. Yeah, and it's like, "Oh, that's so fucked up," and,
yeah.
it
I mean,
was.
the thing is that, like, everything that happens after and they only
Yeah.
briefly touch on it in the movie where they had, like,
Yeah.
one person who is scared of a Japanese doctor,
Yeah.
and
Right.
then, you don't see that, like,
Oh, yeah, the cams
the
they put
camps, the fallout, everything that happens after that, that's, like, really horrible and
yeah,
whatever. It's just it is very, watered down, everything that,
yeah.
like,
I
plays
mean,
into
it's
it.
2001, it's Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Like, you can't expect much from that.
No.
I think it'd be cool to have a newer or,
Yeah.
like, a better
A
version.
legitimate version where it's like,
Yeah.
please and you know what? You could do a fictional love story, or
Yeah,
you could, do a dramatization of an actual love story. Like, there were probably people in love on Pearl Harbor
I'm
who
sure.
got
Yeah.
separated from their people. Oh, another
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
Rafe would not have just volunteered. So with Rafe having gone and joined that
Yeah, the,
British
like,
military
British.
service, you would have had to you'd have to denounce your American citizenship. And
Mhm.
most men who did that joined the Canadian military. So it's not
Okay.
impossible, but it would not have happened that way. So it
Yeah.
really was just Michael Bay was like, what's going to make the best story?
Yeah. Let's just
Yeah.
do it up. So,
And so a lot of survivors were very unhappy with the portrayal, and a lot of critics had a lot to say about,
yeah.
Yep.
And then another point is Cuba Gooding Jr. having like
Yes.
20 minutes. I was like, oh, he's in this movie. And I, for a second, I was like, there's no way it's going to be a love triangle between Rafe and Danny. Like, no. Like, how would this work out? I thought maybe Cuba Gooding Jr.'s
God, that
character
would've
was
been
going to be
great.
the other one because,
Yeah,
she
that would've been
tended to him
great.
and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. Wasn't that.
No,
And he was
unfortunately.
literally just, it's like you said, there was segregation and stuff. So he was
Yeah.
like
They
a
like
cook essentially. And then I don't know, he had this bond with like his
his
lieutenant, his
yeah.
captain or whatever. And
His
the captain dies. And
yeah.
like, that's it.
Yeah, but
Nothing else.
he gets a I think a Medal of Honor, I
He
think. I
does.
don't
Yeah.
Yes, and that's true. And then like he's based on a real person who
Hmm.
eventually went missing in action.
Mm.
So like that's cool that they like incorporated some real stories, especially someone who was the
Yeah.
first black man to get the Medal of Honor. That's
Hmm.
amazing. But they really just kind of were like threw it in. It just felt like they were just like
Yeah.
and this
It would have
one.
been way more interesting if they
My
had
God, if it
expanded his story a bit because he's a
Mhm.
good actor too.
My God, yeah.
So you could have gotten him, you could have gotten a nurse's perspective,
Yeah.
and you could have gotten a pilot's perspective.
Yeah, have
Cool.
him be friends with the pilot, even if that's not like the true story. Have him be the friends with the pilot. He doesn't have to be part of the love triangle, but like focus
Yeah.
on, I don't know, whatever.
Whatever.
God forbid we do a good movie.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Okay, so I didn't even like give like the full details. It's a 3 hour. This is a 3 hour
Yeah.
movie. 3
3
hour
hours
4
and
minutes.
3 minutes. Oh, 4.
4 or
Okay.
3. Doesn't matter.
Either way.
I watched this in a span of 2 days, but like 3
Me
different
too.
periods. So I watched the first hour downstairs and then I paused it and I was like, I can't. And it literally was just all the love triangle stuff.
Yeah.
And like Rafe dying, whatever. And then I was like, all right, let me like keep watching the movie. So I watched in the bedroom the next like hour, and then it was like
Oh my
Pearl Harbor's
God.
attack. And I'm like, what is left? Like, what
Yeah.
is left? Am I gonna see like the bombing in Japan, whatever?
Right.
And then the third part is like them trying, like attempting to do some attacks on Tokyo, but they have to fly over China and they don't have enough oil gas.
Yeah.
They crash land and then, you know,
Yeah.
Japan finds them.
Which
And
Travis's grandfather lived next door to the co-pilot of Doolittle, who was played by Alec Baldwin.
really, that's really
Yes,
cool.
I know. And I was like, "Do you know anything?" And I don't. He was like, "Oh, I don't." I was like, "What did he think about the movie? Did he watch Pearl Harbor? Do you know what he thought?"
Probably fucking hated it.
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah, I would think so.
God. So yeah, so it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of my
Rating.
So
It's hard because I feel like part of me can appreciate the impact it had and the fact that I'm talking about it still, and part of me just like would not watch it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the point of the 2 ratings. But first, how would you rate this as, not rate it, but like what do you think of this as a romance film? Because it was picked as a romance.
I said 3.5.
Okay.
I don't feel like I didn't like the romance. It romances. It does romance.
It romances.
But I don't like it as a romance. I do not. I mean, I personally even though they did focus so much time on the romance, I was like, where's the romance? Like I was just like, I don't feel romanced.
Yeah, there really wasn't.
Yeah. So, cause like I was like talking to Travis, I was like, I don't get like, cause you and he had been talking about it and had said like, oh, it's basically like a romance wrapped in the story, like the guise of war. And I was just like, this didn't feel to me like, I didn't like Titanic. You watch it and you're like, this is a romance.
Yes. Yeah.
This one, I was just like, I feel unsatisfied and I don't like how it ended.
Yeah, because you had a few moments of
Yeah.
Rafe and Evelyn, and then he leaves, and
Yeah.
then it goes to Danny, and you're like, okay, and then you get the sex scene, and I'm like, okay, damn, okay.
Yeah.
And then Rafe comes back, and then it's drama, 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 drama.
Yeah.
And like that's it. And I'm like, okay, this really, it's not selling for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
This kind of sucks. So yeah, so what were the 2 ratings? Like overall movie rating, right?
Your
And personal.
enjoyment and your genre. Yeah. So I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Genre, I'm gonna say 2.
You're gonna say 2.
Personal enjoyment, I'll give it a 1. I'll be nice.
Okay. That is generous. My personal enjoyment, I don't know. See, this is the hard thing. Is I enjoyed watching it more because I watched it with Travis and he was making me laugh the whole time because he was making fun of it. So I did enjoy myself, but not because of the movie. If I was watching it alone, I would have fallen asleep. So I might go with like, I'm going to say 2.5. I'm going to say 2.5. He would probably go lower if I watched it alone, but Travis, it's got the Travis effect. So it's like PEMDAS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I said, I feel like I was enjoying it more the last like 20 minutes of the movie. I didn't realize it was the last 20 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, this is getting a little interesting. And then it fucking ends and I'm like, I hate this movie.
Yeah.
I fucking hate this movie.
It's fair. I think that's fair.
Jesus. Yeah. So any final thoughts about this freaking movie before we
Nah. I mean, there was some Ben Affleck and company learned a little bit of navigation stuff.
Okay.
To fly planes, so that they could do some filming with them behind the actual steering wheel.
Okay.
And then they would have someone come in and take over for them. But I mean, I guess that's cool. Whatever. I don't really care about Ben Affleck, but and Alec Baldwin. Only what's his face?
Yeah.
Josh Hartnett. He's the only one I care about, and Kate, I guess.
Every time I see Alec Baldwin, I just think, I'm like, what happened? You were so beautiful in Beetlejuice. What happened to you?
I know. I always forget he was in Beetlejuice because it's just like,
it's 2 different people.
That's a different man.
That's a different
man. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He sold his soul to the devil. He did the Overlord thing. Like
he did something because
like
it's crazy.
Yeah.
For our next episode, we're gonna do another horror romance
It does
episode.
not roll off the tongue.
No. And we're gonna do Edward Scissorhand,
Mhm.
which is a first watch for Megan and a
Yes.
54th watch for me. Who's counting? Yeah, and it's pretty much about this guy, and he was created, and before the hands can be put on, something happens, and he is stuck with these scissors for hands, and he is found by this woman, and she brings him to her home, and he is very much like, I'm new to everything, like, he doesn't know much about anything, and then he meets Winona Ryder's character, and falls in love with her, and things happens. It's I love this movie. It is, and it's a Tim Burton.
Yeah, I know.
It's great.
Okay.
It's great. It's like, I know the snapshot is like a little goofy.
Yeah.
But you'll see.
Okay. Okay. I'm just like,
yeah,
you know what?
so
I'm not even gonna look into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just give it a watch. And
Okay.
speaking of watch, you can find Hulu, which I guess is Disney Plus,
Yeah. Yeah, and all the above.
Max, and I think that's it.
Okay.
So another Prime Johnny Depp for
Awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Winona, so
Gotta love I love them. Love both of them. Okay. Thanks for listening to How Do You Watch This? You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Letterboxd at How Do You Watch This? We're on TikTok at How Do You Watch, or shoot us an email at howdoyouwatchthis@gmail.com. If you like the show, support us by giving us a review or recommend to a friend. Thank you.
thanks. See you next
Bye.
time.